everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, The Young Minds. It's us, Riva Kayastha.
And Sanbi Sharma with Mr. Charitra.
Would you like to give us a short introduction about yourself?
Thank you. I am Charitra, Executive Director and Environmental Scientist at Center for Public Health and Environmental Development, Kathmandu.
So let's proceed with the questions.
Sure.
Where did you get the inspiration, or what inspired you to become an environmental scientist?
First of all, thank you for the question. The main inspiration myself being engaged in scientific field is to solve the day-to-day burning problem related to environment, related to health, and then basis of that would be the scientific base. And in order to generate the scientific base to start of bringing changes, one has to start to do the scientific research, and that is how I engaged in this. That is the inspiration for me to become scientist in the field of environment, to give the input to the possible extent to bring the changes, desired changes, I mean.
Yeah. So what has you have been working on this field since I
20
believe
years.
2010.
20 years now.
Oh my
20
God,
years.
that's a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, so what has been your experience like working in this field up until now?
I am quite happy that I able to serve in this field and bring numerous positive changes. For example, I started research on chemical related issue, hazardous waste related issue, and I am very proud to share with you the number of example, like based on our research finding and research base rooted advocacy campaign. We have now lead paint standard, asbestos ban of using mercury-based equipment, mercury-based dental amalgam. We have a number of highly hazardous pesticide banned by the government. Even there are now asbestos ban in South Asia because of our campaign. Nepal is the first country to ban the import, sale, distribution, and use of all form of asbestos. Very first time in Nepal.
Wow.
Oh,
That is such a
in the
nice news for
region.
Nepal.
yeah, it's
So,
very a proud
and
moment.
so
for
yes,
myself.
so that is the few examples where the research led by me and our team has led to the successful policy influence, and that is not benefiting the single per individual. The most of the campaign we run, it results the good result for a community, for a large sector of people. For example, today we have the lead paint standard,
Right.
cosmetics standard, and if you count cosmetics only used by the women, it is more than 50% of the total population. But it is not no more is only women issue.
Yeah.
The men also equally use the cosmetics these days. So because of the result, if the safer product will comes, whole population is getting benefited. So that is the result from our research, mass benefit, not the individual benefit only.
So we all know you won the First in Asia award with your remarkable work. Now, how did you feel in that exact moment? Nervous, proud, or an urge to do something more for the future again?
She definitely thank you for this question. As we were working for the chemical or toxic free future, and this is one of the very dear campaign to us because it is the problem of each and every individual, each and every family. Like most of the family have the dental caries problem. And earlier days, most of them is rely on the mercury-based dental amalgam fillings because that was the only available filling in many countries, including Nepal. And we know that being a science background student myself, being a study about the toxicity of mercury, and the 50% of composition of dental amalgam is mercury. So we know that mercury mix as a form of dental amalgam is definitely causing some health implication to the consumer. So we started that campaign. We work very closely with the Nepal Dental Association, very closely with the Ministry of Health and Population.
Did it go smooth?
Yes, in beginning it was very
Bumpy.
very rigid kind of
Right.
people to change them. I took the strategic way to convince them. For example, I had got the chance to do the biomonitoring of mercury among the dental doctor itself because they are the one who occupationally exposed to mercury while preparing the amalgam, while filling the amalgam, while extracting the filled tooth. In all stages, they were the one who get the first hand exposure to mercury. So we tested them, their mercury load, body load, by doing the biomonitoring of mercury among the 50 dental doctors, including high policy makers, because he was also the dental doctor by profession.
So it also affects the doctors
Yes,
and the
that
patients.
patients. So I tested the mercury load in 50 dental doctors, including
That's a
policy,
lot.
including policy maker. I convey back the result, and that trigger convincing factor. For example, in the very first meeting with a member of Nepal Dental Association, I remember one of them asked me, Ramji, can you give me the example who is died of mercury?
Oh.
So, can you imagine a situation where a doctor asking dead case example? It was not
That's-
very palatable for me.
Yeah.
It would have asked by normal people. It will
It will be okay.
it will be okay, but the question coming from
Doctor
Doctor.
itself.
doctor itself and asking for dead case example, I said, sir, why you being a doctor, why one need dead case example? It is not enough for anyone, medical professional, by knowing mercury is toxic, to do something. Why you need dead case example?
So even if it's doctors, it's
Yes.
a basic human thing that
Yes.
until and unless it doesn't affect us,
We never know
themselves,
about it.
Yeah, we
themselves first. So, and that was the turning moment for me to do the biomonitoring, to do generate the data as a researcher, as a scientist. And we did that. We had the chance to do the biomonitoring. I strategically included him as well, one of the research participant. We took his sample, we get it tested in US lab, and convey back the result, and his reading was second highest among 50 dental doctors. So I convey back him the result, and then even the result of the senior policy makers. And then discussion or advocacy started, follow up was going on, and based on that, government of Nepal decided to ban import, sale, distribution, and use of all mercury-based equipment in Nepal health sectors. And afterwards, also they also ban the use of the mercury dental amalgam immediately in three groups like children, pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. For other groups within the 5 years. So 2019 it was taken. Now 2024 is the 5 years approaching. So by that time now mercury-free dentistry will be also happening fully.
Fully.
So,
Very nice.
so can you imagine a situation where a doctor asking that case example in the next meeting with him, he said, Ramji, thank you for raising this issue. Now I am doing the mercury-free dental practice. So can you imagine a situation, a doctor asking that case example has turned mercury-free dentistry. So it is just like 360-degree turn up. So,
So
it was not easy campaign.
Right.
That case example seeking turn to mercury-free dentist.
Right. It kind of trigger you as
Yes.
well to do and show him.
Yes, so that gives myself also more satisfaction
Right.
to see how hard it is to bring the changes.
Right.
But once it is happened, it is for the mass benefit. So that gives us even more
Satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Yeah, like you mentioned, you do a lot of research regarding this kind of topic. So, how do you and your NGO CEPHED conduct research program, or what is the process of getting the desired result out of a program? Or
Yes, as I also share in today's my speech, like we start being a student of science, we rely very much on data.
Do you test your in US?
It depends. Like not all the things sent to be US. Like I said that we don't have laboratory exist in Nepal that test mercury in fish or mercury in human hair. So therefore we need to send it to the US lab where it is to be tested. For example, in some other case, like there was a European EU Switch Asia lead paint elimination project. So under that, the paint has to be tested in European standard laboratory. So in that case, we sent paint sample to the US. But in other case, we got tested our toy sample here in government lab. Nowadays, lead paint can be tested in number of laboratory here accredited
that's great.
within the country. We are, as I said, only one laboratory is available to test the lead in blood. But now we are asking government, why not we can develop at least one blood lead level testing laboratory infrastructure in each province.
right.
So that kind of things we are initiating, follow up.
On that topic, what are the household items and stationaries that we have been using in our daily life that contain harmful chemicals?
There are number of things like I explained, eraser you people using in daily life, cosmetics in daily
Even the cup.
even yes
Right in front of us.
this is the glazed
Yeah.
cup, so maybe we can avoid using that kind of things.
The paints.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
In case of paint, like water-based paint does not have the problem. The problem is with this the what you have applied in the
Walls.
wall, not wall, on the window and door, and then even the iron frame and
Maybe it
enamel.
needs a strong paint.
The enamel paint or oil-based paint. So that has the more problem with the lead. But as I said that there are number of companies out there now with coming with the logo no added lead or lead-free paints, and to maximum extent their claim is correct. So now we have the option to choose lead-free paint or the paint much safer paint than the ordinary paint with the leaded component in it. So and I also see a lot of improvement in that area, and that is because of our research-based campaign, I must say.
And we also heard somewhere that aluminium is a very harmful chemical or substance, and yet we use it in very like daily life use materials.
Yeah.
So, like,
Is
is
it
it
true?
true? And if it's, can you please
To
tell
some
more?
extent, it is true. Like even I was going through some of the latest research saying that the aluminum utensil
Right.
is very harmful for the health. Uh, Definitely, like if in case of Nepal, there was no such a study, but at the international level, there are a number of studies prove that. So, my request or recommendation, maybe we can avoid of using that kind of thing. Even these some non-stick pan and all that, it is not free of harm. So also recommend to avoid to that kind of utensil in our daily life using.
What do you think could be replaced?
There are many things made of pure iron or copper, which is not equally harm or much safer than the non-stick and all that. Even people used to cook in the mud pot.
Yeah, and
Right.
pittal maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are number of alternative to the even in case of cosmetics, you can while going to purchase that, you can ask for lead free lipstick, you can ask for mercury free skin whitening cream and lotion and all that. So as a consumer, we have to start to ask, also see the label, what the product, what we purchase, not only for the price, not only for the date expire, but also the chemical ingredient. So we need to start of asking or at least looking on that aspect as well.
So, what do you expect from students like us to make regarding the overuse of lead and mercury?
Definitely, like I was talking with your principal and then science teacher, why not we can form a environmental club or eco club led by your 7, 8, 9, 10 grade students and have the regular discussion on environment, have the out of school event to see sometimes industry, to see sometimes like waste dumping site and all that nearby, to meet nearby community to get the first hand experience how they are suffering, so that it will trigger back to change their personal or community behavior. So that kind of things you can look for. Another, you can initiate. Uh, we all are also the consumer. We cannot, maybe my parent grow the food, but my parent is not making the clothes or not making the food. So for the food item, maybe we are producer, but maybe for other things we are the consumer or bringing the product made by others. So as a consumer, we have to start thinking, we have to start asking about the chemical ingredient, about its price, about its uh, toxic content and all that. And even if possible, we as a consumer can get tested some of the product which we use daily basis or most of the times. Why not we can time to time get tested. In
Do you
addition,
think there's gonna be any medicine invented for this problem?
there are number of medicine, but for before going up to the medicine stage, prevention is better than cure. And all these chemicals effect cannot be 100% treated. Even you go for the medical treatment, complete lead removal is impossible. Complete mercury
It
removal
stays
from our
within
body
us.
is almost impossible. So it is better to prevent than go
Care.
for the key treatment.
Right. So, like you mentioned many times, like lead and mercury are like very poisonous to us. Yet they are used in paints and school items. So, like, are there any alternatives of these chemicals that can be used instead of them?
Definitely, yes. Like for example, lead issue in the paint is coming from leaded pigment, leaded dryer, leaded filler. It is used to manufacture lead, but nowadays unleaded pigment like organic pigment, uh, unleaded dryer are available. So by using that unleaded pigment and unleaded dryer, one can produce lead-free paint, and that is happening already in case of Nepal. Like there are number of industry producing lead-free or paint or paint complying with the government of Nepal standard. So one industry can, why not all can?
All
All
can, right.
What
could
about
produce.
pencils? What about
Pe-
pencils?
Pencil, as I said the example also in my speech, uh, the made in Nepal pencil was much far better
Better,
than
right?
the imported one. Only thing is that we cannot visualize
Yeah, we're
which
not
pencil
using it.
contain
Yeah.
which pencil contain phthalates and which does not by just seeing. But once we have the data, at least we know that Nepalese product is far better than the imported.
Yeah,
Why
we
not
should
we can
start shifting
start,
to local as
yeah,
well.
local.
Or maybe
And
we can also stop.
that may not be the true in all case, but at least in the pencil case we have seen that.
Yeah,
Maybe we can also like stop some imports because we have
Yes,
seen many
definitely.
companies using made in China or made in
Yes,
India
yes.
pencils rather than made in
Yeah.
Nepal.
And same case was there with the cosmetics. We tested mercury in Nepalese made and also in the imported one. Nepalese product were having very less, almost
Better.
non-detectable level of mercury than the imported one.
That
So
means we should promote
Yeah.
Nepali
People
product.
tend to favor
and
foreign.
then the but having said that, government need to be test is time and again to make them adhere all the times. Like today we didn't find the mercury, but meanwhile
Maybe.
tomorrow we can find it. So there should be periodical testing and all that.
Right. And similarly, like I suppose you guys are working on some projects or recent research recently. So if you want to, can you please tell us what you might be working on right now currently?
Thank you for this question. Like as I said, I was discussing with your science teacher. Our one of the project is ongoing in all three industrial estate, and that is about the noise permissible limit compliance monitoring. For like government of Nepal, Ministry of Labor has enacted a permissible limit for the working place,
Oh.
and that is 90 decibel in industrial or working place. And currently, with the support of DWOI, we are doing the compliance monitoring of noise permissible limit standard in each industrial estate. And just day before yesterday, 3 days we have tested noise level in three noisiest industry in Bhaktapur industrial estate. And before that we completed in Lalitpur, Patan industrial estate. Now we are moving, maybe tomorrow onward we'll be doing the compliance monitoring in Balaji. So that is one. Another study we are doing with the support of IPEN on the lead chromate, which is also the complementary initiative to clean up the lead paint.
Oh.
And then the third initiative, the plastic country situation report, including high mountain plastic pollution. So these are the few new research or project we are working on.
As Nepal is a developing country, most of us wonder if you have faced any kind of difficulties within the past years that you have been working.
Being a campaigner based on research, we have a lot of challenges, difficulties. First and foremost, we don't have the sophisticated lab available. So that was the always challenging. Even there are few, it is either so costly or it is not at all accessible to the NGO worker. So these are the basic challenges. Funding is always challenging for the NGO. More of that, like most of the time we fight for the positive changes that has linkage with some industry, some product, some corporate world, sometimes even fight with the government. But we are fighting for the not for my personal cause, rather it is the public cause or environmental cause. But this having said that, people thinks or take it as a personal. So sometimes it is even very threatening. Sometimes people call us and they just try to fight us. Even there was a moment where some industry wished to sue us in the court.
Oh my.
Did you win it?
But they didn't sue against me, rather sue against the government.
Oh.
So that was the case. Even sometimes a lot of life-threatening kind of challenges is coming, but we have taken this as a like normal kind of things, because somebody has to start from somewhere, and why not I? Why not you?
Right.
Such a wonderful
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. So it's always not easy to do
No,
these kind
never
of
it
stuff.
is easy.
Like public
Sometimes it is less time consuming,
Right.
less effort, but to bring the changes, it is not happening over the night. It requires a lot of persistence, of sustained campaign,
Right.
which is once again very time consuming, resource intensive, and we always have the scars of that.
Yeah.
So yes. Anything else?
How would you vision our world to be like in the next 10 years if we manage to prevent the overuse of harmful chemicals like lead and mercury?
Definitely, I think as I said that there are number of chemicals exist, and there are number of product we use in daily life. But having first, we should know what we are using and what it contain. So at least if I get the information, being informed citizen, at least I can avoid using that.
Right.
So that and then like this problems is not one day problem. Today we are facing with the problem with some chemicals, tomorrow new chemicals will be coming. So being a campaigner, you have to be always ready for that.
Right.
And definitely if we able to deal with the major chemicals, definitely the toxic free future will be possible.
So it would get better, but it would never stop because we
Yes,
always
I
have
think so.
something
Yeah.
Yes.
that affects.
Right. We can't like steply stop the something from that.
Yes.
So like we are now almost at the
End
end of the
of the
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
thank you.
this is the last question. So like people idolize you, like people idolize you. They look up to you and see you as an inspiration. So what are your suggestions or recommendation to the people who are planning to work in this field? What do you want to tell them?
Definitely, I think as I said that despite of many challenges, we have to start from somewhere, and thinking that why not you can put yourself in that place, and being a changing agent. Always think of part of the solution rather only the part of problem. Like for example, I raised the issue of pesticide in contamination or obsolete pesticide uh, cleanup campaign, and so I was one of the red petitioner for that case. But at the same times, I also serve as an expert on national implementation plan development for pesticide management. So I raise the problem issue, but at the same time I also try to be a part of the solution
Work
to
on the
make the
solution.
plan that that has resulted of cleaning up all the obsolete pesticides. So think of like this, raise the issue, but also try to be the part of solution always, and give the option alternate, if not this, what else. Like I said, that Nepalese eraser is much safer than the imported one. The paint with the coming with the logo lead free is much more reliable than the paint without label. So give the option to the peoples to which to whom you work with, and try to sustain in your campaign. Do the less, but try to bring it up to the logical end. So that is theory I have chosen. I am not doing all the things I can get, but select few and bring up to the logical end.
You don't have to keep up with everything.
Right.
Start
One
small.
cannot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
One
not humanly
cannot.
possible.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed
Thank you,
interviewing you, and
Yes.
the answers were very helpful.
Right.
Thank
We
you.
learned a lot, and your philosophy as well. It was like to take inspirations
Yes,
from.
yes.
Mind blowing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
It is indeed a pleasure for mine to share some of my experience with the energetic people like yourself, the new generation. So at least I am very happy to see that I able to share some of my thoughts, some of my research work to the new generation like yourself. And I believe you can change the better way than I did in the coming days.
We walk on your
We will,
footsteps.
we will.
Yeah, we will. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much.
joining us for today. It was really an awesome one.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And the viewers, thank you so much for watching. Bye. Bye. We meet in next one.